it is inconceivable that in a democracy, particularly in a party that prides itself, as we do, as All Progressive Congress, a progressive party, that Edo State is being run by the executive without the benefit of a properly constituted parliament. This we viewed seriously, and therefore, in addition to the other iniquities and contradictions that border some forged documents and inconsistencies that were amplified, NWC accept the recommendation that Governor Godwin Nogegase Obaseki will be ineligible to participate in the forthcoming primaries in Edo State. With regards to Mr. Matthew Idiwekeme, who went to court, and one Mr. Asekome, who until this expulsion was Deputy State Chairman of APC. Within the last 2 months, he has taken the party to court virtually every other week. Right now, he is a party to about 4 court cases against the party without attempting to take advantage of the internal mechanism within the party to resolve whatever issues that he was unhappy about. We feel that this constitution will not be worth its while if its provisions are not fully adhered to. So we have done it, and we stand by it.
All right, welcome back. Well, that is what we're going to focus on this moment, but we also like to bring this up as well, the statement from the APC. The National Working Committee of the APC has received the news indicating the appeal court has upheld the suspension of the party's national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, by an FCT High Court pending the determination of the substantive suit. Guided by advice from the party's legal department in line with the provisions of Section 14, Sub 2, 3 of the party's constitution, the Deputy National Chairman South, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, will serve as the party's acting national chairman. According to Section 14, 2, 3 of the APC constitution, the Deputy National Chairman North and South shall act as the national chairman in the absence of the national chairman from his zone. Signed by Larry Onulu. Well, this was before now there had been those messages circulating that some other person other than Senator Ajimobi was going to serve. That communication was saying since he wasn't disposed, but now you have the official position. But at the moment, we're still expecting Honorable Ehiozuwa Agbonaima, a member of the APC. We're hoping that he can make it before the show is over. He's supposed to be on this morning. But at the moment, we also do have Osita Chidoka, who is a former Minister of Aviation and advisor to the PDP on strategy and external engagement. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Well, the PDP has... Okay, we know this also equally concerns the PDP. They are also participating in that election in Edo State, and statements credited to them, saying that they're expecting him to join up in the party. But then give us your impression of how all of this is playing out at the moment in the state.
Well, Edo State is symptomatic of the crisis of the APC. For you to understand what is going on in APC Edo State, you must go back and understand the history of APC. The APC is an amalgam of 3 parties: the ANPP, the CPC, and the Action Congress for Nigeria, ACN. And if you look at those 3 parties, they were not democratic parties. They were parties owned by individuals. The Buhari organization, his political campaign organization, left ANPP after his unsuccessful effort at 2003 and 2007 and formed the CPC. So, and then the ACN, as you know, came out of the Alliance for Democracy, and most of his governorship he got back in, I think, 2008, 2010 period was mostly from the courts. And you will know that the AMPP, which had its precursor as the APP, was basically largely a northeast and some part of extreme northwest political party. They had no pan-Nigerian mandate. So this political party has in its internal DNA an incapacity for democratic principles, because if the chairman of the party is a Democrat, being the chairman of a party with 36 states, he ought not to have relocated himself to Edo State to settle personal scores. And the fact that the NWC of the APC, the president of the country, the board of trustees of the APC could not restrain the governor, the chairman, from using his office to interfere in his home state.
Concerning the formation of the party,
tragedy.
Concerning the formation of that party, the PDP, we all know it was formed in a similar manner. So formation of political parties and whether or not they have ideology, we keep arguing about that they all want the same thing. Many people will always tell you. So they'll ask, what's the difference about this one?
To your views, the PDP came together in the 1998, an amalgam of various political organizations and have varied stakeholders. So when you come to the PDP, you find that it is difficult for the chairman of PDP to impose his will on any state government, because inherent in the PDP structure is a diffusion of power, which is not present in the AMPP.
But at the moment in Edo State, isn't the PDP looking to profit from this? Or some will tell you, look, Governor Obaseki might be doing all of this because he feels, well, the PDP will always give me a platform. In fact, people were saying that PDP was even priming for this, and as such, it's going to come with all the levers and quote-unquote of power into the PDP, and not that they'll reject him, will they?
No. The PDP is not going to profit from it. The PDP is strengthening democracy in Nigeria by making its door open to those who have been oppressed. You see, the APC is oppressing its own candidates. So what the PDP is doing, because we need to understand that the country needs a democratic platform. The country needs a democratic platform, and the only platform in Nigeria today that is democratic, that goes through a free and fair primaries in its activities, that has learned from its mistakes, that has made mistakes in the past, that has moved forward in deepening internal democracy is PDP. So what we do today is that as APC exhibits its authoritarian roots, as it exhibits its anti-democratic tendencies, PDP is the available platform for those who want to come and enjoy the benefits of a democratic party.
But the thing about this
today in Edo State is the governor coming to a democratic party to have a free chance, and that is why it's taking us time in negotiating with him and other people to have a free time to be able to participate in our democratic process.
The thing about this is that it's evolving. There are matters that have gone to court. There's a recent ruling yesterday, and they've announced certain steps. That's the APC themselves. So isn't that an indication that, okay, well, the law will eventually take its course here? So that window is still there. So to that extent, one wonders if we can be so categorical about all of this since it hasn't ended. But for the members of the PDP...
we're not being categorical. What we are doing is that we are making Nigerians to understand that come 2023 and for future elections, Nigerians should go out and vote for that political party.
You're going too far. I'm talking about the elections that will happen just very soon in Edo State. Well,
yes,
but
Edo State offers us an opportunity. Edo State offers us an opportunity to show to Nigerians the tragedy of that congregation called APC. It's a major tragedy that a party that fielded a candidate will turn around 4 years later and say the same candidate has no certificate. I mean, it is a travesty. It is a tragedy that we in the PDP watching and aligned to that is the fact that the APC government has refused to sign the electoral bill, has refused to move the electoral bill before the Edo State elections. Part of the challenges that we are witnessing today is that electoral bill will have offered us an opportunity to deal with some of these issues that are coming up. But by and large, I am of the opinion that the Edo State crisis is symptomatic of a fundamental problem of lack of wider stakeholder ownership and a democratic culture in the APC.
How will those candidates in PDP who were gearing up for the primaries. They picked up the form. They're going to do all of that because they've committed resources and everything. And then they now see that
Yes.
you're going to eventually accept Governor Obaseki. That is demoralizing. It's the same thing politicians do. So why does that always happen?
So that's why I said to you that he is not just walking into the PDP. There are a series of conversations going on. We're looking at the strengths and the weaknesses of all that conversation. And our candidates too in the PDP are going to be subjected together with Governor Obaseki to a process. And we're hoping that because we are a wider stakeholder-owned party, we believe in consensus building, we believe in negotiation. We will negotiate our way to finding our optimal mix of candidates to win the election in Edo State. And winning the election offers all our candidates possibilities in Edo State, in forming the government, and in extending the very good track record of PDP governments in the South-South up to Edo State, which they have missed so far. PDP has controlled most of the South states in the South-South, and they are about the richest states in Nigeria. They are the states that have the lowest incidences of poverty and has improved the lot of the South-South people. So we intend that the Edo people will benefit from the experience of the PDP in extending its rule up to Edo State. And our candidates, together with our party members, are looking forward to that.
Okay, well, we've since been joined by Honorable Hezuo Agbonaima of the APC. Edo State is a key stakeholder there, and then I think he's also an aspirant for that. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, I know the last time, I suspected this time you might tell us you saw some of those things coming, but did you see all of what's playing out coming as well, Honorable?
Well, thank you, Chimbali, and good morning to our viewers out there. It is unfortunate that where we have found ourselves. Politics is about the people. It's about the people. Unfortunately, listening to my brother, Dr. Osita Chidoka, that the wider spread of ownership, I mean stakeholders, owing party, not one man show. Politics in Edo State today, for me, is a mockery in the eyes of all Nigerians, home and abroad. That those who believe that only them decide what happens in Edo State. How did we get here? I foresaw this long time ago, and I've said this over and over again. When you decide to throw away the ladder that you used to climb to get to the top, a day will come when you will need that ladder, and the people who helped you to carry that ladder for you to get to the top, and you will not find them anymore. What has happened in those states, I think my brother really clarified it, that politics is about numbers, it's about the people, carrying everybody along. It's not a one-man show. And once you lose that, you lose the opportunity to be coherent, to believe in the wider spread and carrying everybody that belongs to the party together. Because when you are trying to, in the olden days, when I was in the village, we used to remember when you want to kill a rabbit, you have to work very hard to dig, because the rabbit is also smart, because you have a different holes that the roots that he believes that he can escape from. So we have to work hard to kill that rabbit. And when that rabbit is finally killed, and guess what? When it's time to share, everybody always have their own part, But I say this, that if there's unity, the heart of an ant can be shared without war, without rancor. But when there is no unity, I don't care how big the elephant is. When you are sharing, you'll be seeing people fighting here and there. But what I'm saying is that those, ordinary Nigerian, ordinary Edo people that have decided to say, wait, let's support this man to be governor, they did. And they did it.
Honorable, just one moment.
That, he would deliver.
Just one moment. You made a reference to two categories of people, I believe. You said when you do not give reference to the people who helped you to climb a ladder, you may be needing them on your way back if ever the need be. Which people are you talking about there? Are you talking about the party people or the people of Edo State? Because there seems to be a difference, you know, when we are looking at this matter. To a large extent, many people have said that in all of the dynamics that's happening in Edo State, it seems that the politicians are only concerned about themselves and not about the people of Edo State. So which people are you talking about here?
First of all, to buttress my point, when you decide to join the arena of politics, you know, always have it at the back of your mind that you are there to serve the people, not just for your interests alone. But that notwithstanding, you will also be one also that will benefit from it, because at the end of the day, when you are able to bring dividends of democracy to the union of the people, to attract, you know, employment, giving jobs to people, infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure development in the state, and at the end of the day, you will see that people begin to look up to you and decide to say, well, this man is a good man. But to answer your question, let me be direct. I don't even know why you are asking that anyway. You should know where I'm coming from, that we have issue that is happening in Edo State, that the whole world, when you look at television, what do you see? It's about Edo. Edo is a peaceful place that I know to be. A wonderful place, but today that be taken over by rapists, kidnappers, and armed robbery, bandits everywhere because of the insincerity of purpose that's supposed to be exhibited. Because of all this chaotic and this infighting that is going on between the party members, not just one man. People might say it's Adam Ali Oshomole. No, it goes beyond that.
But Honorable,
we are talking about thousands and thousands of APC members.
Just before you move away from that point, speaking about the chairman, now from this culturally now, do we say the suspended chairman? Because isn't that why those people are also fighting, saying that they didn't approve of the way he's handling some of these things? And now that this culturally has come, there are those who have said, look, we have been vindicated as well. Isn't this going to further deepen the crisis in the party? Who's going to preside over the primaries now?
Let me tell you here, there's no winner, there's no loser in this game. Who are the real loser? The people of Edo State. Where two lions fight, who suffer? The grass. Where elephants fight, who suffer? When you see the governor and our national chairman, as of before yesterday, yes, he has been, suspended so far, but it goes beyond that. Politics is about reaching out to everyone, others, being that, in politics, your best friend can become your worst enemy, and your worst enemy can become your best friend. You must be able to engage others to at least to convince them why they should be with you. Not by force, not by saying, it must be me, it is not negotiable. No, you don't play politics like that. At a time, my dear brother, what I'm telling you is that I wanted peace in Edo State. And the governor is my friend, is my in-law. I've said this over and over again. And guess what? Comrade Adams Ali Oshomole was the governor of Edo State before. We both worked for Comrade. And they all work together harmoniously without, fighting each other. And I can see the sincerity of purpose, which the governor, when he was, the chairman of the economic team in Edo State under Oshomole, had to work together. And I was one of the most closest person to Governor Adam Oshomole when he was governor of Edo State.
Honorable, if you can hear me, I just want to clarify a point. If you can hear me, I just want to clarify a point. I'm still stuck at that point where you said, when elephants fight, the grass suffers. Is this the relationship between the people of Edo State and those in power, or even generally? Is this an elephant to grass or lion to grass kind of relationship? Because when you say that, it's quite troubling, really.
Why shouldn't it be troubling? It should be troubling because the effort that the governor should use to take care of the people of Edo State is being used flying from Edo to Abuja, day in and out. That is spending taxpayers' money.
What I'm trying to clear.
It's not cheap to
Honorable,
have
what
a
I'm trying to
charter plane
clear
coming
here.
to Abuja. So Edo State, the people of Edo State are the ones suffering this.
So
The
I
people of
understand.
Edo State
What
are the
I'm
ones
trying to
suffering it. You are not
clear
the ones
is
suffering it. The
what I'm
media
trying
are not
to
the ones suffering
clear
it.
is the ideology. I mean, this analogy of elephant grass. Because is that the thinking of politicians, that they are the elephants and the people are the grass? Is that what you're trying to pass across?
It's an adage I came to, meet here on earth. It's an adage I have seen, I've heard so many times. That is the adage that, let me be frank with you. Your media have also a role to play, and I must say this, because if you really want Edo State to be peaceful, the way you report sometimes, not just channels, all the, various, platform, the way you report, what I call investigative journalism. You are failed to adhere to investigative journalism. Once upon a time, I owned a cable television in America. So I'm not new to this game. You must be able to ascertain, going about to do investigation. How did we get here? This is about the people. People elected you. Now you have closed the door against the people. Now you are saying that the people that you have closed the door against, you want them to make you, to force their hand, to say that it's not negotiable, it is not negotiable, it is not negotiable, I deserve it, I must have it. You don't play politics like that. You play politics by convincing people, by reaching out to people, being able to disagree to agree, being able to carry everybody along, that once you win election, you carry everybody along, even those who refuse to vote for you. You are not representing not just only APC, PDP, ABGA, and those that don't belong to any political party. That is what makes a good politician. But
all right, gentlemen.
After spending so many years
Honorable,
in America,
we need to go to break now.
Politics in Nigeria.
But when we return, we'll get both concluding comments from you. But Mr. Chidoka is still on hand, so we'll start with him when we come back in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. So let's wind down on this subject matter for the two gentlemen who we have. Let's get back to Mr. Chidoka, starting with you. I mean, there are those who will always say that it's not that when you highlighted the performance in those states that you spoke about the PDP, not that they came up with any fantastic economic policies. It's the industry of the people, many will always say. But at this point, they think, look, even if the PDP, assuming without conceding that that's what's going to play out, even if they get to the saddle in Edo State, it will still be about the same thing. It's about the honeypot. Nothing will fundamentally change. They just want to get there and be in charge. That's the impression people will have. Will they be wrong if they are of that opinion?
They will be totally wrong. They will be totally wrong. And you can draw global examples from political parties around the world, including in Nigeria, and look at the states. If you want to draw the map of poverty in Nigeria, you look at the states where those poverties, where the poverty resides. PDP is a party that has the internal mechanism and structures to control its own, to negotiate, to widen the base. You see, the problem in the APC is that because of its history and its antecedents as a special purpose vehicle, it hasn't made that transition to a political party owned by stakeholders. Because if there were stakeholders in the APC, there wouldn't even be the issue of the PDP, of the APC chairman and the court case. So what is going to happen is that Edo State is a bellwether case. It is an example to Nigerians what is the importance of a democratic culture. So my advice to the people of Edo State is to remember that PDP is Edo State is a PDP state. It's a state that we had issues in the past, but now they are welcome to come back to the PDP fold. Now, particularly to the point about the conversations about the difference between the APC and the PDP. The difference is already emerging. Forget about the sliding door where people have gone into APC and PDP for electoral purpose. But if you look at the outcomes in government, if you look at the emphasis on some issues, you will see that there is an emerging difference. Our democracy is still young. Our parties are still learning its ropes and are getting up to speed. But in looking at the 5 years of APC and looking back at the PDP years in office, we're beginning to see, we haven't seen any government with an appetite for debt like the APC government. PDP had no such appetite for debt.
Dr.
Instead,
Chidoka,
we were interested in paying down Nigeria's debt. So I'm saying that what is happening in Edo State today is about the deepening of democracy, and PDP will help Edo State people deepen democracy.
Well, some references that you made to the APC the other time are things that happened to the PDP as well. Perhaps, well, this didn't happen to the APC while the APC was at the center. Everything that is happening to the APC now happened to the PDP while PDP is was the central government. What is the assurance that the same thing will not happen to the PDP if the places were to be switched again?
Because we've learned. I mean, outside of power, our party has broadened the scope. If you look at our primaries at Port Harcourt, no primaries in Nigeria has been that open and transparent and free. We've learned a lesson. We've learned lessons from our past.
Think it is impossible for the APC to learn the same lesson before they fall into the same trap?
Yes, the first thing that has to happen is that APC has to modify its DNA, which is a very difficult thing, but I believe it is possible. APC has to modify its DNA because in that modification of its DNA, it is incongruous that all the governors of APC looked on quietly while a single person, the chairman of the party, determined who can be a candidate and who cannot be, using a nebulous committee, so-called, for to clear or not clear a governor. So I'm saying that APC has to fundamentally alter its DNA. And until they alter that DNA, they will become like they were in the past. APP became a regional party out of office. CPC never rose up out of the north. ACN remained a regional party in the southwest. So these regional parties coming together need to make a transformation to a national platform of stakeholders. But PDP has already gone through that process. We came up from a national platform and we have continued to sustain that national platform. Losing out of office did not now bring us back. I mean, we won elections in Bauchi, we have elections in Sokoto. So you see that PDP has remained national in character and people-oriented.
Okay, let's get Honorable Agbonaima's final thoughts on this matter. I'm sure you might want to respond to some of the issues you have raised. And also, I mean, moving forward, so the APC has lost a sitting governor. There's the court case, in fact, court cases in the coming days. There's a primary that we're looking forward to, and eventually the elections in Edo, well, Ondo on one hand, but then focusing on Edo. What lies ahead, really, for the APC?
Well, thank you, and I hope you will not be biased, that you will give me the same time that you gave to my friend, my brother Chidoka. But just to answer Mr. Chidoka, first of all, he did say about having DNA, but we know about PDP, their past record, about their DNA. How did we get where we are today? That the mess that they created, that is what Mr. President Buhari is trying to clean up. That is the mess of corruption that's eating us deeply. Today, you know, when you talk about DNA, they should be the one that knows what is DNA, because corruption is in their DNA. You know, we have people that, in this country that believe in Nigeria, moving this country forward. And my brother Chidoka, he was part of the system, and we all were together in PDP. I was a PDP before I moved to APC. And that notwithstanding, that doesn't mean that, we don't have good people in PDP. We have some good people in PDP. But the majority of them there, they only care about themselves, not for generality of the people. But I want to say this. Let Nigeria know this for a fact, that, look, Edo State, where we are today, when you are talking about Comrade Adam Oshomole is not the bond of contention here. The bond of contention is the people of Edo State. Why is Edo State now the centerfold of the whole, mockery saga in political setting? Because of one man, the governor himself, who's supposed to understand the politics of inclusiveness. It's not about winner takes all. Where contractors come from Lagos, we have people that are suffering. They cannot have even a square meter a day to be engaged. Some bricklayers, those carpenters, those artists that are working, that can be able to support the government of the day, they have been neglected. You say you want to create 200,000 jobs. How many jobs has he created? It's not about, talking social media campaign and all this. Yes, if you're talking about performance, has PDP performed in the past? They failed at those states. Yes, they did. And you are talking about, Adam Ali Oshomole. please, let's separate that issue. Adam Oshomole is not the issue today. It's about
How
the
do
people
you
of Edo State that have been
separate?
suffering for
How
a
do
long
you
time.
separate that issue?
Let me tell
when,
you, hold on.
How do you separate that? Because he is the bone of contention now. For those who have gone to court, there's a court ruling that is about him. And don't forget, you just admitted you were in the PDP.
Listen
so when
me,
it was
Chibali,
about the
hold on,
honeypot at that time, you didn't speak out.
Let me land. Please, let me land.
Please
Chibali,
land. We've got less than
told
2
you,
minutes.
Give me
Go
the
ahead.
same time to buttress my point.
You have more than enough
because what
time
I'm
now.
saying
2
here is
minutes
this. You know
before
what is
we
so
wrap
painful
up. Go
to
ahead.
me? Hello? What's so
Go
painful
ahead.
to me is this, that I contested an election in Edo State under APC. How come, as a member of APC, I lost, I lost the election. Not that I lost, I won. Even the INEC who called me mistakenly dialed my number, thinking I was a PDP chairman, to redeem the balance. He was arrested by DSS. DSS did a fantastic investigation at the tribunal. When the DSS report came, the chairman of the tribunal got a phone call during the hearing after he had dismissed several applications filed by PDP. Is this the same country where we live? That the chairman of a tribunal will get a phone call when giving a judgment after he had dismissed PDP applications, several applications filed. At the end of the day, a phone call came in. He excused himself 2 minutes and came back less than 5 minutes and made a 360-degree U-turn that the report of the DSS had no value. The officer of DSS who came to testify, he said his testimony has no value. That even the recorded voice of the EO INEC who connived to rig me out, he said his report has no value. What are you talking about? Let's talk about issue.
As challenging as that may be to the system.
My campaign manager.
Honorable Ezewa, we had more than enough time for your segment now, so I'm afraid we need to wrap it up. But the thing is, well, you did say you were in PDP, now you're in APC, and some who were in APC are in PDP. So that both parties cannot deny that those things happen to both parties. And so many will always ask, what kind of consideration are they giving to the people? But I think this is a conversation we're going to have much later moving forward. So, but both of you, we have to thank you both for coming on, Osita Chidoka and Ezewa Agbanama. Thank you both for coming on. So we will be back in a moment, gentlemen. Join us again.
For the second successive week, protesters take to the streets in Katsina, northwest Nigeria, to voice their concerns over insecurity in the state. Barricades mounted by the police was not enough to stop the protest organized by a coalition of northern groups. Their message to the government: stop the bloodshed.
Let's call a spade a spade. Let us tell ourselves the truth and let us face the reality. We have never witnessed a situation whereby security challenges is at peak level. We have never witnessed a situation whereby people are no longer sleeping with their two eyes closed, but rather they are sleeping with one eye closed and one eye open.
But the police say the security situation is not as bad as being portrayed by the protesters.
For somebody to come and say the security situation is the worst so far, he's either being mischievous or he deliberately wants to be funny. We are aware that we have challenges. These challenges are built-up challenges for over 30 years. And Nigerians being what they are, rightly or wrongly, they want problems that have been accumulated for over 30 years to be solved within a period of few days or months.
Barely a week ago, over 200 bandits attacked 8 communities in Faskari local government area of the state, killing over 20 people. A visit to Faskari Model Primary School, now converted to a temporary IDP camp, tells a story of the aftermath of the attack, with 3,156 displaced persons, mostly women and children, now calling this place home.
Though the care we receive here is in fact better than that in our matrimonial homes, but our prayers is that government should look at our critical condition by eliminating the bandits.
While the police say they have arrested some suspects connected with a series of attacks in Katsina and neighboring Zamfara states, one of the leaders of the bandit groups is said to be at large. A bounty of 5 million naira has been announced for anyone with credible information on his whereabouts.
It's fast, exciting, engaging, makes and breaks records, and non-stop action. That's our world of sports. Right here on Channel Sports, we share and keep the beautiful moments from our ever-busy world of sports.
Welcome back. Well, now we're turning our attention to security. It is indeed a big one. We just saw that report, and then there are several other items that were highlighted in the dailies today if you caught our opening sequence. Well, this morning we have the privilege of being joined by retired Vice Admiral Akin Aduwo, CFR. He's a former Chief of Naval Staff. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, it's something that will always concern anybody. Anywhere in the world, security, always a big topic. Now, we've been battling Boko Haram for a while now, even though there are different perspectives from those who are in the front lines. Give us your impression, your assessment of what you've seen, how you've seen us approach this. What do you think?
Well, thank you for having me. I do watch your programs and listen to the discussions, arguments.
Thank you, sir.
About security, the concern of citizens, and the condition and situations in which innocent Nigerians in villages and towns, especially in the Northeast, have found themselves. It's been very saddening. And then the situation continues. It's not that the armed forces are not doing what they should do, but the way they do these things have really stood against the success of their efforts. War is not a football or cricket match. It's not a game. And I'm speaking from my experience in the Nigerian Civil War, the Biafran War, in which I led, in fact, all the coastal operations from Lagos to Bonny for the historic landing in that at the start of that operation.
So, Chief, are you suggesting that the approach needs to be similar to how we approached the war at that time with this?
Yes.
How?
The approach to that civil war was purposed on what we call in the military, I say in the Navy, in naval language, war is its top secret operational engagement. War is not a television show. You catch or kill a number of soldiers sometimes, or you rescue one person. In this war, it goes on television. It becomes headline news. You've saved an innocent, maybe one member of the abducted girls in what's the first place?
Chibok.
Chibok, and then later on, what's the other one?
Dapchi.
Dapchi. It goes on television. The Air Force bombs a particular location, position of the Boko Haram. And there's the very strike of those positions is shown live on television.
Are you saying, sir, that those actions are undermining the success of
They are, because it gives your enemies the fighting Boko Haram that you're trying to conquer. It gives them courage.
Perhaps the intention of government when they do that is to let the Nigerian know that they're actually doing something.
Why do Nigerians need to know all that on live television? War is based on secret planning, order of battle. You don't keep your path to the fighting ground exposed to your enemies. And when you really hit them, the result goes on, this minor success goes on live television. Then you face the press, make statements. If we fought the Biafran war like has been going on Boko Haram and these farmers, terrorists, and so on, that the Biafran War would have lasted over 10 years.
Perhaps another, sorry, Charlie. Perhaps another angle to look at this, sir, is that the Civil War was fought during a military era, but now we have a civilian government. Is there a difference? Should we have been approaching it differently, or you think we still should have gone the same way?
That's in fact another story. I was appointed Chief of Naval Staff in April 1980 by President Shagari. Like, I was never brought to the floor of the National Assembly to be queried, examined, and assessed by politically elected members of the National Assembly. The appointment of service chiefs all over the world, from where I even attended courses, the British Army, Navy, Air Force, and all other such services. The appointment is at the prerogative of the Prime Minister in the UK. The only goes to the Queen to inform the Queen. Appointment of service chiefs doesn't go to the House of Commons or even House of Lords for approval.
All right, so
what we do here, and that places the military in the hands of politicians. And a politician will now say, oh, this is my brother's son. I want him to serve in the Navy, in the customs, in the this and that.
All right, so sorry to jump
That's
in.
why the military right now, during this war, believe that they have to. War is not a cinema show.
There are interesting points you raised, sir, but we'll come to some of them when we come back from this break in just a moment. Please stay with us. Well, sir, concerning the service chiefs, even in 2015, the president had to write the National Assembly for confirmation of the service chiefs. That's what our law requires. So in terms of submitting themselves to civilian authority, that's what the law says. And so
that law is wrong. We took up the system of military operations, training, from the British when we were a colonial country. In that country, there is no presentation of service chiefs' appointments to the House of Commons, to the Parliament, for about maybe 500, 600 years. In the United States, of whose Naval War College I also attended, the appointment of service chiefs is by the President and Commander-in-Chief.
Who is an elected official.
Not after presenting them, handing them over to the National Assembly, the lawmaking political body.
But sir, if they are not answerable to the people.
Sorry, I haven't finished that. Okay. You said this is the law of the country.
Yes, sir.
Some of our laws, in fact, most of our laws are subject to the Constitution of the Republic. the mention of submitting service chiefs' appointments to the National Assembly is in the Armed Forces Act. And the Armed Forces Act is made up of laws affecting the military. But the Armed Forces Act is subject to the Constitution, which is the controlling authority for all laws made in the National Assembly. It's not in the Constitution, well, unless my own copy of that is wrong. The only time service chiefs are supposed to appear before the National Assembly is when they have to defend their votes, financial votes, or what do you call it? Sorry?
The budget?
The budgets. That is all. Listen, in my own time, a lawyer who was a member of the National Assembly from my own local government received maybe information and a letter, petition written against me and that was in fact falsely, for accusing me of lobbying the Ministry of Works to pass the road from Ore. I'm from Ondo State, Okitiukpa local government, accusing me of lobbying the Ministry of Works, Federal Ministry of Works, to pass the road from Ore to Okitiukpa through the location of my own personal house in my town, which was a lie. Anyway, that letter was written to me, inviting me to the House of Reps to come and defend what I, in fact, knew nothing about.
Did you defend it eventually?
When I got that letter, I have to take it to my commander-in-chief. And that's the only link between a service chief and the House of Lawmaking. But President Shagari, after getting the letter, I referred to him for permission to obey the invitation to the House. He asked the Secretary to Government, Shehu Musa, to call me and that I should ignore that letter. It was not in line with good governance routine and process. That letter should have come, any such letter should have come to the presidency for the commander-in-chief. That my appointment is not a political one. And then he wrote a letter to the national to the House of Reps at that time, and I can't say condemned the improper channel of communication.
Let me bring in this, Chief. I know that lawyers, they will always have their views about the law and the positions of the law, but we all want to see improvements and safety of lives and property. Ultimately, that's the intention. So what would you want to see done differently so that we can have better results in our fight?
Thank you. That's a very good question, helpful question. The war is led by and fought by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That is the made up, the Joint Chiefs of Staff is made up of the Chiefs of Services. In our own case, we have a Chief of Defense Staff. Yeah. You have an Army Chief of Army Staff, the Naval Chief of Naval Staff, Air Force as well. They get the orders from the Commander-in-Chief that war has been declared against Cameroon, or in this case, a civil war, internal war, and go out there. In our own case, in our own civil war, the head of state, Commander-in-Chief, thank God he's still alive, gave us instruction that this war has been declared against the eastern states, declaration of their own independence, which they wanted to secede from Nigeria, led by, I don't want to name names privately. But we were given also an order booklet that this war should actually be fought like a police action, because it's against our brothers, our fellow officers and men. We train together. We have been citizens of the same country and so on. And we should, or we will want to avoid much bloodshed. Those orders were from the head of state, the head of government, the commander-in-chief, not from the National Assembly. And that became a problem for us, because much of the ammunition, the weapons we needed, were withheld. That gave us a lot of things. While the Biafrans were bombing us, dropping napalm bombs, setting tanks in Bonny, diesel tanks on fire. And it was causing us a lot of problems. For that reason, if Adekunle, who took passage on board my ship, he was my guest. I used to call him my passenger. In fact, at that time, his title was Land Forces Officer or Land Forces Commander. I was Naval Forces Commander. I was his naval equivalent. Because without me, without my ships, my landing craft, the army could never have got to Bonny and so on. So
I was going to ask, are you happy with the relationship between different offices, the army, interagency cooperation now, as we're prosecuting this war against Boko Haram?
Well, it happens that the present war, it's being fought solely on land.
But we see Air Force, which you say they are making, they put it on TV when they bomb Boko Haram targets.
Yes, that's what I'm really talking about. The enemies you are fighting, they learn, they analyze, they study your report as they see, they watch it on TV, and they re-strategize and hit places, and their intelligence reports are much better and higher, and they are closer even to the citizens.
But sir, the world is a global village. We see armies of other countries, they do the same thing, and they still record victory. So are we supposed to act differently?
When you see them, do they, is it from their addressing the press? No, their successes or difficulties and failures go to their supreme headquarters. And it is the headquarters that would approve whatever report has to be released to the public.
Is this information that you are giving us, is it unknown? Do you think it is unknown to the service chiefs, for this to be going on?
For what?
No, you said that these things that we shouldn't be putting such information on TV because the war we're fighting is not a football match, it's not a cricket match.
Precisely.
But the service chiefs ought to know that, and of course, these things do go on, sometimes with their permission as well. Do you think they are...
I think it comes to a contest for maybe what I can call maybe as a naval officer, I want to show on TV, and that's the best way to be popular. Part of my own success in that war was to rescue David Ejo, who had absconded or fled from Benin City as military governor to a fishing village near Saple. And he said, well, that's what I read in the papers. We all read in the papers that he rode a bicycle and maybe dressed like a female cyclist or something like that. And he ran away. When the Biafrans crossed over and took over the government, the state of this thing. Now, like we in fact left Lagos, with Adekunle on board my ship, followed by 4 other ships and a troop carrier in which they had their vehicles, soldiers, and other things that they needed.
Okay.
We left Lagos on the order of the commander. That was Benjamin Adekunle, of maintaining perfect radio silence. There will be no communication on radio between ships, between troops. It's after success of an operation that a report will go to the headquarters, supreme headquarters, and I, in fact, happen to have been chosen as the communicator, for want of a better word, because as the effect of controlling provision of arms and ammunition to us was hitting us hard. The commander-in-chief, in fact, barred Brigadier Adekunle from coming to Lagos because he on the radio. You talk to his commander, to his CNC. You were sitting on your this and that in an air-conditioned room. This buggers, for a better pronunciation of that word, are bombing us here. They are roasting us and this and that. So the commander-in-chief banned him from coming to Lagos. He wanted to many times, and it would have been another small war within the headquarters. So I was always the conduit, my ship, from between Lagos and the Eastern war front.
Sir?
That way, in fact, I was invited to the war cabinet, sometimes lasting from maybe 9 p.m. to the early hours of the morning. And I'll brief the CNC plus his very high-ranking officers. I didn't go on television. You don't do that because you are plotting a course to stare for the enemy.
Even though, as pressmen, we always want as much information as we want from the army. We hope that this will not make them not give us little information that we need.
You will get the news that you want from a report from the headquarters, not from the war front, not from some...
Okay, sir. We have to anchor at this point. We do thank you very much.
That is why these people are ongoing. They are more powerful now because of what they do, and they have helpers.
All right, sir.
From abroad, from within the country, and so on.
All right. Retired Vice Admiral Akin Aduwo, CFR, former Chief of Naval Staff. Thank you very much indeed for your thoughts this morning, sir.
If I had to be giving publicity to what I was doing, I would have escorted David Ejo personally in the seaplane, which was approved by General Gawan, to pick him up from alongside my ship.
All right, so we're out of time.
Then I probably would have got a medal.
All right, then.
From the press.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll be back in just a moment, everyone. Please join us again. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at some feedback coming from you. We've got this one from Sam. Well, Sam says, yesterday, a close relative was referred to UBTH for urgent medical treatment. On our getting there, he was not admitted because of the resident doctor's strike. We're going back this morning. His case is very critical. I hope that something is done about this, guys. This is a very serious matter.
Absolutely. And when you hear threats of other health workers saying they might join, and then you hear the government saying, well, the hospital should open a register this morning and see who doesn't come to work. We don't want this to get messy. But take a look at this one from Ayodele Olutoye saying, in politics, referring to our conversation around Edo, saying, in politics, there are no permanent friends or foes. For me, politicians who jump parties to achieve their personal goals don't have integrity. That's coming from him. Says you can take a back seat in your party and make great contributions and impact. You don't necessarily have to be at the forefront.
Really?
That's what he thinks.
Well, I think Malkwe should take the last one. Malkwe?
Well, let's look at this one from Ola Lawal, who says the APC governments, both at the federal and state level, need to stop and avoid all these blame games and move forward. It's been over 10 years in Edo since APC took over. If they're really serious, it's enough time to correct any PDP mess. Leave politics and face policies. That's what Ola Lawal, MD, says.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, there are several other moments, but I guess we'll we'll find time to bring them all in much later. But hey, just keep those comments coming through. What can we do, good or bad? We'll just sift through. Well, that's the show today. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Osol.
I'm Kayode Kikiolu.
Please do stay safe. I'm Ayo Makinde.
And be responsible out there. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf.